Hi everyone, welcome and thanks for joining me. It's Angie Hayes here. It's a beautiful warm day in sunny Weston. Today's video is all about bullying. And I feel compelled, absolutely compelled to do this video today for you because two main reasons. Firstly, I've been bullied, so I understand what that's like. And it wasn't that long ago. It was probably about 10 years ago-ish in a corporate setting. And I understand what that's like and how that feels. I also understand that at that time I was vulnerable. I was unwell, physically unwell, and really quite poorly. And I let that person in. But I'll talk a bit more about that later because this isn't all about me. This is all about giving you perspective. And the main reason, the most compelling reason for coming on here to talk to you today about this subject is the fact that I am absolutely, completely and utterly devastated by some of the condition that clients present themselves to me in as a result of the impact of bullying. And I think if you guys out there, whether you have never come across bullying in any way, shape or form, or you're very well conversant with it, either perpetrating it or being on the receiving end of it, you know, anyone out there, if you had any idea of the impact that you can have on other people's lives, you might be a little bit more tolerant and a little bit more reserved in your judgment of people. So what are those impacts then? So let's start with eating disorders. Historically, and I think this is changing because of social media and pressures to look and behave and act a certain way for young people. But historically, 90% plus of people who presented with eating disorders did so as a result of being bullied about being overweight. And some of them weren't even particularly overweight. You know, they were just slightly overweight, but they got bullied about it. And I don't know if you've ever seen Freddie Flintoff's documentary about his bulimia, but his bulimia started with bullying about his weight. And he was a brilliant cricketer, and he was still getting great results when he was a little more weighty than he is now. It doesn't matter. He was still doing the job, getting the job done. But the press decided to continually not focus on that, but focus on bullying him about his weight. And okay, so he's a person in the public eye, closer to home. I see people dragged into my therapy room as a last resort because they are spending every other week in A&E. And they're doing that because the compulsion to be thin is far more important than the compulsion to be leading a happy, healthy and thriving life. And they almost see it as a badge of honour. Oh, I've been in A&E twice this month. I've been in 3 times this month. You know, that survival instinct gone completely haywire. And that's just a direct result of something that somebody really nasty has done to that person. Somebody really selfish and nasty has done. And it's not just eating disorders I see. I see young people who've been bullied at school presenting to me as young adults, and they blocked out their entire childhood, their entire life from about the age of 5 or 6 has been forgotten, has been torturous. They can't function in today's society. They feel alienated. They don't know who they are, what they're about, because they've had to build this coping mechanism of blocking out something so traumatic. And it is traumatic for a little kid. It's really traumatic. It's disgusting. And not only that, they then present with, on top of all those issues that they've got, a deep sense of self-loathing and a terrible lack of self-worth. They're really down on themselves. They absolutely hate themselves and don't think they're worthy of anything. And it's so hard to bring them back out of it. But we do. We get there, but it takes ages for some people. because we have to make those changes in such baby steps because they've had a whole lifetime of abuse. And that's what it is. It's abuse. It's mental abuse. However, I will say this. There's a common denominator in all of this if you're being bullied. And that is that on some level, there's some vulnerability going on with you and you're letting them in. There certainly was with me. I was physically unwell. I lost everything. I lost my ability to run. I can never run again. I used to go to the gym all the time. I was immensely fit and used to love it. I can never achieve what I achieved then ever again. And it was a really difficult time for me. And I let them in. And they love to latch on to that, don't they? Because they can, and it gives them power over you. But let me just ask you this question about power. Is it power over you they're really looking for? Because they don't give two shiny shites about you, do they, really? Because if they did, they wouldn't behave like this towards you. So is it the power over you, or is it actually the thing they do give two shiny shites about is overpowering their own feelings of insecurity and inadequacy? But we'll talk a bit more on that later. You know, when I look at bullying, from my perspective, I think it's all about pack mentality and fitting in. And we all think that that just happens at school, but it doesn't. Bullying is not reserved just for the school playground. It is found in the workplace, as I can attest to. It is found in families. It's found in relationships. And more often than not, if you're the unfortunate soul on the receiving end of it, particularly if it's within families or in a relationship, you most likely won't recognize it for what it is. Why is that? I'll tell you why I think it is. Because more often than not, we tend to take the behaviour really, really personally, don't we? And when we take it personally, we believe that the fault or the blame lies within us. Because we're overweight, because we're shy and reserved. We just started a new job and we're not, you know, we're just finding our feet and we're not hitting the ground running. We've got acne. We're different in some way. You may be on the neurodivergent spectrum. And you're a little bit different because you need to manage the anxieties around that. But that doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong with being you. And there's nothing wrong with going through something in your life. It's just how you deal with it. But the trouble is, at that point, you don't fit in. You don't fit into the bully's view of what people should be like. So you're being judged. So let's just talk a little bit about where the responsibilities lie here then. Because if I just ask you this question, if you're being bullied, do you really want to be like the bully? Do you really want to fit in with them? Really? Is that how you want to come across? Because let me tell you, the responsibility for how you're coming across, your behaviour, your actions, rests with you. So if you're bullying, you own that. You don't have a right to do it. You own it. You're doing that to purposefully impact another person's life adversely. And you're proud of it because you keep doing it. Or are you proud of it? Because if you're being bullied, do you really want to be like that? The responsibility of you, if you're being bullied, is to respond to it differently. That's your responsibility, is to respond to it differently. Yeah, sounds straightforward, not so easy, but stay tuned because I have my tips for you. You know, but we don't want to be like bullies. We don't want to fit in because they're nasty, sadistic little joy stealers, aren't they? And on some level, they know what they're doing is wrong. It's unkind. They know it's not making them feel fulfilled and happy, but they just can't stop it. A bit like when somebody gets addicted to a drug or to alcohol or to anything, gambling, gaming. They just can't stop it. They just have to keep doing it. Even though they know on some level it's not the right thing to be doing or the best way to be going about handling how they're feeling. You know, and sometimes others join in, don't they? You get what I call the sidekicks. I relegate them to the word sidekick because I think they're even more cowardly than the bully themselves. because they're hanging out with that crowd of people. So they're not the ones getting picked on. So they've got some insecurity going on with them on some level. It's not very emotionally intelligent. You know, but when these other people join in with it, it reinforces that belief, doesn't it, that you're a worthless person or you really do have a problem, because other people think it as well. But I think you've got to look beyond that, beyond how it's affecting you, and look at their motivations for doing what they're doing. Yeah, because 99.9% of bullies, I promise you, 99.9% of bullies and their sidekicks feel inadequate on some level. And once you understand that, that understanding is crucial to the first step of your journey to being able to respond to this a little bit better than you are at the moment. So here's where the usual Angie Hayes treatment comes in. And we're going to get real. We're going to get honest. We're going to get real. And we're going to get adult. We're leaving the world of unicorn dust and fairy farts, and we're going into the adult world. Because I've got a difficult message to deliver to you and for you. One day, you're going to have to enter the world of adults anyway and become your own person. You're going to have to become your own person. And that's going to take courage. It's going to take resilience. It's going to take confidence. And you're not going to build it overnight. But right now, before you, you have a straightforward choice, whether to get out of your comfort zone and make that first step towards dealing with this in a more appropriate way, rather than just letting it overpower you. Or you can remain in the world of the low emotional intelligence, which is sadly where the bully and their sidekicks reside. Yeah, it's purely a matter of choice. And when I work with people who've been bullied, this is where we really focus the work. We focus the work on what an absolute little legend you really are. Underneath all that, you are an absolute legend. Every single one of you out there, every single human being on this planet is an absolute little legend. They just don't realize it. They don't tap into it because they let all the other shizzle get in the way. There is nothing wrong with being you. And I love it when we can get you to that place of healing where you're the best version of you and you've got a confident and healthy mindset. Because guess what? When we get you there, the bullies don't get the same reaction. And they tend to move on, bugger off. So if you're being bullied, just recognize it for what it is. It isn't actually personal. It's because you're either different in some way, which there's nothing wrong with whatsoever, because you're still a legend, or something's off with you. Maybe you're unwell. Maybe you're going through a divorce, or you're going through a difficult time. Something's happening that's making you feel on edge. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're all going to have these times in our lives. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with being different. It's just how you look after yourself and respond to this crap that's going on in your life right now. Okay? So number one, top 3 tips. Number one, confide in someone. Someone who you trust and respect, who trusts and respects you and won't judge you. Let me tell you a little story about how important confiding in somebody is and what a difference it can make. Some years later, probably 4 or 5 years after I left that part of the business, a most gorgeous little lady that used to work there, she was very junior. She was just a little PA. She wasn't any threat to anybody in the corporate world, was being bullied by the same senior manager and her sidekick. And she sought me out in the different part of the business. I hadn't seen her in all this time, but she knew I'd worked on the team. And she felt she could trust me, which to this day I will forever be grateful for and humbled by. And she sought out my advice because she said, I feel I'm going a bit crazy. I don't know, I feel I'm not doing a very good job. And when she explained to me what was going on and the fact that it was these people, I said, no, you're right, you're being bullied. And I had to coach her, not only coach her in terms of leaving that part of the business and having the confidence to speak up and say she wasn't prepared to work with these people, but also coaching her out of the business because it wasn't where she was meant to be. She wasn't thriving there. She wanted to be living in Cornwall and doing stuff, creative stuff. And guess where she lives now? In Cornwall. She's had children. She's happily married. She's leading a fantastic life in Cornwall because she just sought out some support. So that's how powerful that first step is. So seek support from people you love and trust and who love and trust you and have your back. Number 2, start working on that version of you, that version you want to be, not the version they're trying to make you out to be. There's so much more to you that they don't know you, these people. They don't know who you are at all. They know nothing about you or the life you've lived or what you have to deal with on a daily basis. So they're in no position. Their opinion means nothing. What matters is the version of you that you want to be, the version of you, that little legend that's inside of you. What do they look like? How do they behave when everything's going well? What do they love to do? Get back in touch with your interests. Start going to the gym, start going to dance classes, start doing whatever it is you need to do. And if you're unwell, start focusing on your health and getting better first, so that as the first step to then being able to go to the dance class or the gym or whatever that is. But start that work on you and seek support with it if you need to work through that. The support is there. But do not, whatever you do, focus any longer, but don't put your valuable time and energy and life into these bullies. Put it into you and getting you into a better place. Third thing, it's time to seek out your tribe. And I talk about this a lot in other videos, but your tribe are like-minded people who like the same things that you do, who will have your back and support you, who are kind and uplifting. They're not these mood hoovers, these psychic vampires that may be about you right now. They're your tribe. And I don't care how awkward, geeky, reserved, shy you are, like-minded people are out there. Just get into your interests and get out and meet people as a result of your interests. So if you're sat in your bedroom gaming all day and you're absolutely brilliant at gaming, go to a gaming convention and meet people. Just go and do it. You'll be surprised. There's so many people out there that want to hang out with you, you little legend. So go out there and find them. Help's out there, but do not suffer in silence. Do not let this overwhelm you. Seek the support, seek the help. Focus on you. Deal with this in an appropriate way, not an inappropriate way. So what about those of you that are bullying then? And the sidekicks who are complicit in the bullying? Well, yes, I've been fairly judgmental about your behaviour, but it's your choice to do what you're doing, so you have to own it in the world of the adult. But the purpose of my videos is always to provide perspective from a place of love and caring, which for you guys is this. Why did you do it? Why are you doing it? Are you leading a happy and fulfilling, thriving life? Are you enjoying brilliant achievements, bursting with confidence and pride, got a compelling future to look forward to? Are you surrounded by a great tribe? If the answer to that's yes, then what more do you want? What are you seeking? What are you expecting? What are your, how do you want to be coming across? Because you've got two choices in how you're coming across. At the moment, you're coming across as a tyrant and a bully who has no emotional intelligence, because they wouldn't be dealing with their feelings in this way if they did. Or do you want to be the best version of you? Do you want to be that little legend? You have a straightforward choice. Because if you want to be successful in the adult world, then you really need to think about what version of you actually want to be. Seriously. because you're not going to be successful if you go around pissing everyone off, because adults are not so tolerant of it as children are. And some adults will call you out, and you most likely have fights and arguments with them all the time because you get called out. But you don't get respected. The one thing you don't get respect is respect. You might be feared, but you certainly won't be respected. So if you want to be feared and you want to just get your own way, then maybe you're a narcissist, and maybe there's no hope for you anyway. Sorry, but that is the case. But if you answered no to those questions I asked earlier, it might surprise you to know that research has highlighted that there are some key reasons why people tend to get into bullying. So let's run through just some of them. This isn't an exhaustive list, but these are some of the key ones, okay? So stress and trauma. People are most likely to be involved in bullying if they've experienced a traumatic event in the past 5 years. And that could be anything. It could be a divorce. It could be an accident. It could be anything. But it says something on some level about your ability to deal with stress in a more appropriate way. You're struggling to deal with stress in an appropriate way, so you're dealing with it in an inappropriate way and finding an outlet, which is quite frankly causing misery right now. Another reason why we display aggressive behaviour, so if you're male, this is particularly prevalent in men, but it's not just about men, yeah? Women can do this too, but I think because of the conditioning in our society historically, men have been led to believe that showing any form of emotion is a weakness, so they show aggression. They use it as a way to defend themselves, but it's a defence mechanism because you feel under attack. Why are you feeling insecure? Why are you feeling under attack? Deal with that. Don't take it out on other people. Deal with your demons. Because you're not leading that happy, fulfilling life that you really can lead if you sort your shizzle out. Low self-esteem is another one. And this is the world of the sidekick, I believe. This is where most of the sidekicks reside. To avoid negative attention, you will side with people who are perpetrating nasty behaviours because you don't want to be the focus of it. You may not agree with it, you don't want to be the focus of it. Well, where's your confidence? Where's your adult gob? Really? Come on. Do you really want this? Is this a happy, fulfilling, thriving life? Is it? People also bully because they've been bullied themselves. In fact, you're twice as likely to bully others if you've been bullied. Did you enjoy being bullied? So if the answer is no, why are you doing it? Why not deal with your own experience of bullying and get into that healthy, confident, lovely mindset of the little legend that you are? Why not do that instead? Difficult home life. Now, this is where most children get into the bullying. Sometimes it's because they're spoiled and they can get away with whatever they like and they're being turned into little narcissists. But most of the time it's difficult home life, not getting enough attention from parents, feeling rejected, and so they seek attention in other ways. It's very, very vitally important. If you bring children in the world and you want them to be happy, rounded and whole, you need to give them the right level of attention. It's not constant attention, but the right sort of attention. Take time out and just spend time with them and just be with them and make them feel safe and secure and loved. That's all they need. And then they won't become little bullies. And relationships. Yeah, those who feel their family and friends and relationships aren't very secure, they might bully or feel pressured by their peers to bully because they want to hold on to those relationships. Very similar to low self-esteem. So there's some of the key reasons why you're bullying. So let me ask you a question. Do you want to stop? Do you want to become a little legend, or do you want to just remain this emotionally unintelligent person who's not really respected and who's going to find it difficult if they don't grow out of it to be successful in the adult world and respected. So this is, again, is about being comfortable with who you are and having the confidence and the courage to become your own person. If you are bullying and you've come this far in the video, I admire you. I take my hat off to you, because there's been some hard-hitting messages in here. But if you really want things to change, you need to be completely honest about what led you here. What's going on with you? What the hell is going on with you? And how do you want to deal with it? And my top tips for you are exactly the same as they are for anyone being bullied. I'm finding someone, say I'm not happy with what I'm doing. Someone you love and trust, and who trusts and loves you. Start working through what that real version of you looks like, that little legend. Go and get involved in something that floats your boat. Whatever it is, go do it. If you need to, seek support, but find your real tribe. Yeah? Find those real like-minded people who love doing the same things as you, those supportive people who have your back, not those people that you have around you because you're just trying to fit in or make sure that you make sure that all of the heat is taken away so it doesn't pull on those strings of insecurity. Deal with the insecurity, then you won't have to worry about any of this shizzle, will you? You know, I always say to a lot of my clients, life doesn't come with a handbook, and we're all going to make mistakes in life. And the important thing is to forgive ourselves those mistakes, but learn from them and not repeat them. And, you know, maybe it's just time for you to decide whether you're the person being bullied or the person perpetrating the bullying. Just decide it's time to heal and become the person, that absolute little legend that I know you can be. So I hope you found this video useful, my little loves. You take very good care out there. And remember, support is out there for you if you need it. I send you love and hugs, and I will hold space for you, even those of you that are bullying, because I know on some level something's not right. So take care, my darlings. See you soon. Bye for now.